Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black and White Gaming's Game Club. I'm your host, Peter Hoy, with my friends, John Longaluco.
What's up, guys?
And the light-skinned blade,
Oh,
Devon.
here I am.
Devon.
What's up, you bloodsuckers?
What is the Game Club? The Game Club is where we choose a game, we play it a section at a time, week by week, and each week we discuss that section that we played in a podcast, which is what you're listening to or watching right now. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't checked out our previous episodes, go for it. We're coming up on the end of our season right now, and this season is Deadly Premonition.
It's a doozy.
It is a ride with thrills and question marks. Last week, in case you weren't here, or if you were, just as a little recap, we found out the identity of the killer.
Well, some of us did.
Yep.
I mean, we all found out last week. Just some of us found out during
On
the podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
We all had a face-off with the maniacal crossdresser, Thomas, though. And that was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just got to get hung, dude.
Hands down, best part of the game so far.
I'm glad that John found a part of the game to attach that title to.
I'm going to latch onto it, and I'm just going to hold it tight. I'm just going to keep it with me.
This week, we had to play to the end of episode 5. That was chapter 23 and 24. Guys, what did you think of these two chapters?
Whew. A lot of stuff coming together now. This is where you see everything just come together. I thought it was great. Personally, I thought it was. I can't wait till we get to it. I can't wait.
I felt like I was on acid. I don't know, man. It was whew. This game.
A lot to take in.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we get to it.
Well, let's stop the waiting and let's dive in. The episode kicks off with York outside the sheriff's department. Now, if you remember, he was standing out there at the end of last episode because he told Kaysen to take Emily to the hospital because she had received a bunch of seeds in the throat and in the stomach and needed her stomach pumped. We start this episode right where the last one left off. York turns around and the door to the sheriff's department opens. And who's standing there? Love G himself.
Oh, there he is. Bastard.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I never said who the killer was in our recap. The killer is George.
George Woodman.
George walks back in, and York has to run inside and pursue him. That's right. We're not running from the Raincoat Killer anymore. No. We are running after him. York walks into the sheriff's department, lights up a cigarette, and isn't fazed by what he is doing at all. No, instead, while he's smoking, he tells Zach,
I'm thinking of asking Emily out for dinner once this is all over. Nothing too fancy, just somewhere where we can relax. You know what? Nick's Diner might be a good idea. I think I owe him a nice big tip, too.
Absolute genius. Power move.
imagine yourself inside a building with a killer who's murdered 4 women already, and you're going to sit there, smoke a cigarette, and say, I think I'm going to ask this person out.
Sex is a powerful thing, Pete.
Sex is a hell
He's
of
thinking
a
with
drug.
Little York.
And then we're off to chase the Raincoat Killer. We see George running through the hallway with his axe. It's time, boys. It's a gameplay segment. It's a mysterious shadow segment. We have to explore the sheriff's department and find George. Before we can get to him, we have to clear out some mysterious shadows, and there's even a little bit of a puzzle that we have to solve in order to proceed. Guys, the puzzle is that you're in a room with a bunch of deer heads on the wall, and 3 of them are upside down. Very easy puzzle. All you have to do is flip the deer heads right side up, and it unlocks the door that is closed by deer antlers. So I want to ask you about this section, the mysterious shadows, and the puzzle. Let me know what you guys were thinking. Let me know how you felt about this.
This part for me, because I haven't stopped to get any of the, like, like the powerful weapons, infinite ammo weapons. Not just like before, but like now you can really tell that the mysterious shadows are hard to kill. Like they take a lot of shots. Like they eat bullets now. Like nobody's business at all. So like it was a little difficult for that. The puzzle, not so much. I liked it. I liked being back in the sheriff's department again. Obviously always is ominous. Very just fucking creepy. But I wouldn't say it was too hard.
Yeah, I think it's only difficult in comparison to how they were at the beginning of the game. They're not really that difficult to beat, but they're definitely stronger and faster. As far as the puzzle goes, there's nothing else you can do in the room. I don't know what they were expecting to do. It's kind of weird.
It was so hard. It was so difficult.
I will say I was not caught off guard, but it was because this is George's office, by the way.
Yep.
The last time I was in there, it's a fairly small office. So you go in and it's actually just like a huge hall of, deer antlers heading down. So caught me off guard for a second. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And then got excited about another puzzle, but then kind of let down that it was super easy.
I do have to agree with you on the layout. I like how they warp the rooms you have been in these mysterious shadow segments.
They play with your expectations a little bit.
Yeah. Every environment that you come across is drastically different. Again, we've talked about it in previous episodes, kind of like the Silent Hill style where it totally changes when you're in this nightmarish realm.
I think it makes it a little bit more creepy too. Because like when you're in the sheriff's department, like just by itself during the day, it's, fairly compact, fairly small and stuff like that. And then as soon as you're in the upside down, essentially, it's like, damn, this is crazy.
I will say the upside down nightmare realm, very spacious.
Very spacious.
They can fit a lot on the inside of a building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can get cozy, man.
The phrase "it's bigger on the inside" definitely makes sense in this nightmare realm.
Yes.
A lot of room.
After completing that puzzle, you walk down the hall and you have the most unnecessary scene ever. The Raincoat Killer kicks open a door into the hallway that you're standing. He gives you the "come over here" signal, walks back into the room he just exited, and when you head in there, he's not there. He's gone. What was the point? Where'd he go? Doesn't make any sense.
Tell you what, Mr. Love G himself is a fast man.
Only when he wants to be.
Yes. If you're hiding from him, he takes his time. He takes his time. I will say that as you go through this area, you will find Thomas's desk, you'll find Emily's desk, you'll find George's desk, and you can find little items on there as well. Like you can find one of Thomas's biscuits.
Delicious.
I know you guys were excited for a good old Bonut.
Bonut, yes. Yes,
I know you
man.
forgot all about that.
Forgot about the Bonut, dude.
I still like Disket better.
The Disket. Once you go through another door at the end of that long hallway, you come across the Raincoat Killer. He's at the other end of the room. It goes into the view as if you're being chased, but you're not being chased. Instead, you're actually getting axes thrown at you. They're heat-seeking axes. So if you're out there in the open, that axe is going to track you down and hit you and cause damage. What you have to do is you have to run all the way to the other side of the room and try to come into contact with the Raincoat Killer. When you do that, you'll escape into the next room, and then you have to continue after him. Guys, how did this go for you?
Honestly, I started popping shots immediately because I had no idea what I was doing, and he wasn't taking damage. So I was like, what? What do I do? So then I just kept evading axes, like just kept hiding, evading axes. And I'm like, what do I do? And then I was like, maybe I just get towards him and it's like a quick time event or something like that. So then when I got towards him, that's when it did it. And I was like, okay, that was just a waste. Like, that was just a waste of time. Literally a waste of time. It's literally a waste of playing time.
I did the same thing as you. I popped shots at him first. I was like, I don't think this is doing damage to him. And then I went up closer and then he left. Then I thought I did something wrong because it basically went into it again. I was like, wait, am I supposed to shoot him or what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I was very confused. I think after the second time when you get close to him and he runs away, it does something different. And I was like, okay, so I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It was a little awkward. I don't know the purpose of this.
Right.
I don't know if you guys noticed, when this section kicks off, York says something in his mind. It pops up as green text in the corner of the screen, and it tells you that you have to run to him.
Oh, did not see that.
So
Was not paying attention.
when I started this, I saw that text, and I knew after getting hit with the first axe, because I definitely got hit the first time I ran in there, I knew I had to go right to him. Did that, and it immediately went to the next section, and it said again up there, have to go after him. So it made sense to me. But I wanted to ask you guys if you saw that, because if you didn't, did you think you were in a boss battle, or what did you think?
Yeah. Had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I totally thought it was a boss battle, and like I said, shooting him with nothing. I was like, "What am I doing?" And then I thought it was looping the rooms when he ran away. So I was like, "Okay, I can't get close to him if that's the case, because he's just going to keep running away and keep looping me into the rooms."
Oh, there was a look of confusion on John's face when.
Oh, and there's a look of being pissed off in this next section.
Yes. The next area, there's a locked door. You need a key to get into it. What kind of key? Well, just so happens you need a curvy-tailed squirrel key to get in there. Call back to way back when.
Yeah.
However, the hallway you have to go through in order to get to the room with the key inside of it, you can see the vents at the top of the room. You can see vents, meaning you will have to face some crawling shadows.
Yay.
Thankfully, it wasn't both ways. That would have been even more frustrating. There's just one way.
There's that.
You'll walk on through the hallway to the end, go through the door, you grab the curvy-tailed squirrel keys, you save at the phone, you check if your suit's... Yeah, you change your suits, you check if it's dirty, you go back into the hallway, and then you have to fight. Were you... I mean, I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm just going to say, I imagine you guys were not excited to fight these things again.
Nope. No, sir. See, here's the thing. You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys have all these nice, cool weapons. I mean,
John does not have the nice, cool weapons. John is rocking the pistol.
Literally been. I kind of want to make it a mission to play this game again and just shoot everything with the pistol and nothing else. Just
the OG, dude.
Yeah.
The OG Pistole. You know what I'm saying? The Mexican. Great movie.
I almost bought a gun at that room. Just decided not to buy anything. I was like, all right, never mind.
You started with the pistol, you were going to finish with the pistol.
Goddamn right.
Might as well, dude.
Respect, John. I respect that. I totally respect that. I went right for the revolver every single time. I was like, nope, And Dirty Harry.
Believe me, if I had that, I would definitely be rocking that thing.
You have to kill 2 of them, and then after you kill 2, you run back into the room, you save, just in case it crashes, so you don't have to face those 2 things again. Smart gaming. ABS.
That was a 200 IQ play, dude.
With that key, you can open up the locked door in the file room. You continue on through, and you end up in another room with fire. That's right, most of the room is on fire. And the game doesn't give you too much time to react, because there's already 2 enemies on fire.
Yup.
Just panic at the discoing toward you. And you have to be quick.
Wow.
Were you quick? Were you guys quick?
I was not quick enough.
I didn't shoot him. I fucking just dodged them. I
got
fire.
Right. I got hit once and then I ran. I was out, dude. No way.
I managed to draw my revolver and shoot both of them. And it was 2 moments of complete shock and fear. Because the first one came at me and it was like, oh my God, bang.
Yeah.
It was like, whew. You're finally breathing. And then when you turn to the right, you see another one's right there. It's like, oh God. Just shoot again.
I literally did the same thing except with dodging. The first guy I saw coming, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I was like, "Whoo! Oh fuck!" So the other guy coming, I was like trying to fucking dodge it so quickly.
Oh my God, dude!
I do have to say, I enjoy the way they made enemies react to fire. I like that. I like how creepy it looks, how fast they move. I also like that they will die. It's not like they're just gonna keep on coming at you with fire, but they do have that moment where they can just still sprint at you.
Yeah, it's almost like the risk reward for the enemy, right? It's like they travel super fast and can come at you and really hurt you. But if you're good enough and dodge them, they just burn to a crisp.
Exactly. Right. After progressing past that, we have another section where we have to get to the killer. He's at the end of the room throwing axes at us, and we have to get near him in order to proceed to the next section. Now there's boxes in the way, so you have to destroy the boxes in order to get over to him. So there's little obstacles, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge, but not really, because you can dodge really easily. I mean, it's not even a threat. Imagine you guys thought this was very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple, very straightforward.
There are more mysterious shadows to take out as you proceed. Then there's even a gun range. It's like you're in the basement of the sheriff's department. There's a gun range, and there's a mysterious shadow with a shotgun in each of the lanes. What you have to do, you have to take them out, or you have to be really good and just run past them all. What did you guys do?
I'd peek over, shoot one, then go to the next one, shoot the next one. I wish they did more things like this, where they had some creative uses of like the same enemy types, but like just done differently with the environment. Like, yeah, you're at a shooting range, you know, you're facing the same enemy, but it's done a little differently, spices it up a little bit.
I like the way they did it. It's clever having the enemies with the shotguns in each lane shooting at you. Like you're in the lane of fire and they're all aiming at you, and you have to just slowly make your way, or quickly if you can get past them all.
If you're like me, you tried to just sprint through, right? So I tried to sprint through. I got shot, and then I obviously staggered, kept going, and guess what happened?
Did you die?
No, my game crashed.
Oh.
It was wonderful.
We lost one, boys. We lost one.
I just sat there defeated.
down.
I was like, man, that sucked. And then I came back, and then I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to shoot them all so I don't get hit.
I shot them all with my revolver, and it was super easy.
Nice. Oh, wish I had that.
After the gun range section, we do get a little quick time event. Did you succeed, boys?
Yes, sir. Quick time event.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everyone succeeded. The Raincoat Killer tries to grab you, and it's the same thing we've seen plenty of times before. You can either successfully hit the button prompt and roll out of the way with York, or you get grabbed by the throat, thrown on the ground, and you have to wiggle your way out of it. But it seems like we all succeeded.
Yeah, well, too late into the game, I've decided to calm down when the quick time events come and just kind of give it an extra beat to be able to just be like, okay, which button? Here it is. Okay. I would just usually normally freak out. Something random. Yeah, pretty much.
John was molded by the quick time events.
I was born by the quick time events. Molded by it.
I was but a man when I realized I had to calm down. By then, it was just blindness.
Afterward, you come across this very large staircase, and you got to run all the way up to the top. This one's kind of annoying only because they have so many boxes on the sides.
Okay,
I know that you guys stopped at every single layer of this.
Swear to God, was going to be like, it was kind of annoying, but I thought you would have been like, you just hate this game, John. I don't understand. Like, it's just going up a straight path. I was really annoyed coming at me. I was like, this is like, what the fuck?
It was very annoying because it's like, dude.
It's the gamer in us. It's the gamer in us because we see the boxes and we could just run by it. We could just run all the way up to the top and never even touch any of them. But we couldn't.
Those tasty stars are in there.
Exactly. At the same time, I'm thinking, if my game crashes and I got to go through all this again, I'm going to lose my shit.
Because you know you're going to.
Exactly. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to break everything on the way up the stairs.
Oh, it's great.
At the top of the stairs, there's a room where you can shit, shower, and shave. And you're damn right I did all of them. AKA, I used the phone, checked my suit once again, shaved because you get paid to.
Did you shave?
Peter did everything. Peter said, hi. Hey, Mom, how's it going? Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, this suit looks good. All right.
Shower, shave, shit. You know, just take a
Exactly.
little nap. That's why Pete's ahead of us in life. Did you save when you first got there, shave, and do all this stuff, and then save again?
Exactly. You're damn right I did. You're damn right. Why? Because if my game crashed, I was going to be pissed. I was going to shave again, grab the turkey sandwich again, check the toolbox again. I realized afterward, I said, nope, I'm going to save right now.
We're all getting ABS fucking tattooed on our fucking body, bro.
I feel like it's crept into my actual life. I'm at work and I'm like saving documents, and anytime I just do like one little thing, I have to save it again just in case it crashes. I'm like, ABS, dude. ABS. Always
ABS.
You never know when something's gonna crash. You never know.
Nope. I've had this podcast while editing crash before and lost 20 minutes of editing, which is so much time. It's so much time in my time.
That's 20 minutes edited time, not like how much time you spent.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Peter's cursor's on the fucking save.
ABS.
Always.
That's right.
in everything you do. You leave that room, and we have the first real cutscene of this chapter. And it's not just any cutscene, it's the cutscene where we confront the Raincoat Killer. George whips off his raincoat, anime style, and it flows off in the wind.
Like Freddie fucking Mercury.
Yes, he is dressed like Queen's lead singer. Turns around. I was waiting for him to just say, "Another one bites the dust." Dun, dun, dun.
Oh! He's got his like fucking half leg stand.
He starts talking to York.
Welcome to Greenvale. Agent Francis York Morgan.
Ah, I finally got to see the real Greenvale. I knew you country folk were shy. It took you long enough to show me who you really are.
York. This is a wonderful and powerful town. Especially when it is raining.
I always get depressed when it rains. Especially in this town.
George tells York about 2 treasures in this town. York already knows both of them and spews out the first one right away.
This town has 2 great treasures. Do you know what they are, York?
Those seeds are one of them. But I don't think they deserve to be called a treasure.
An ordinary man could never appreciate their true value. But you'll agree with my selection on the second treasure anyway.
I don't disagree with treasure number 2. Emily sparkles like a precious gem.
This town changed since she came here. The goddess from the city gave us the fruit of knowledge and gave us sin. When I first saw her, I realized I was such a fool. A fool for being satisfied by the petty girls from this countryside town.
George, I agree you were a fool, and you are a fool, even now.
Shut it, York! You're the fool here.
York's a fucking genius, dude. It's a man. I love it because he just always interrupts and like always like finishes like I feel like he's one of those people that would just finish people's sentences before they even were about to say something. I love
And
it.
he's a dick about it. He
I love it.
He downplays
I-
whatever they're gonna say. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, oh, the seeds.
I don't know. I totally wish I had York's confidence, where I could just
Same.
tell people off like that and still be liked, because he's still liked by people, even though it's in an odd way.
He's an asshole, and people
I
like
think it's just more of like an absence of fucking any sort of conscience. Just like fucking.
well, we are his conscience.
That's true.
What does that say about us? Start doing the York.
I gotta go.
It turns out George's fascination with Emily was integral to the story. So let me apologize to all of our listeners and our viewers for not talking about that when they brought it up in the bar back when Emily and York were talking. Definitely something important to keep note of, but we kind of just brushed over it. Mentioned it a little bit last episode, but yeah, he was into her, and that's pretty important. We should probably talk about what George is wearing during this cutscene, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we mentioned Freddie Mercury, so you probably have an idea in your head if you're not watching.
He's wearing like it's like a
alligator.
snake, like an alligator skin, snake skin vest with the hole in the back exposing his scars. He's got little wristlets with spikes on them.
Yeah,
Like the
he's
kind
a
that you could buy
loser.
at Hot Topic.
Right.
Exactly.
Like a
He also
loser.
has matching pants for the top.
Super emo.
Super emo, but you got to remember that this stuff is like skin tight too.
Oh yeah.
So it's like goth / bondage wear.
Facts.
This dude is ready to go to Pound Town.
He's ready to fuck.
He took the time to like put makeup under his eyes and everything. But like, no, I'm just kidding. It's just
Yeah, well,
Looks
but
like it,
that's his skin complexion is totally different. It almost
Mhm.
looks zombified in a way.
yes.
George continues on.
I am strong. I have power. My mother taught me the strong, who can overpower others, is always correct and right. My mother stepped on my face with her stiletto heels because she had power. And when her heel pierced my cheek, I learned to respect her. Since then, I attained power of my own and found my own disciples. I became divine. All I need now is that goddess of fate, and grab her with my hands. I want Emily in her stiletto heels.
You're out of your mind. The goddess won't smile for you anymore, George.
George wants Emily. That's pretty much the basis for this conversation.
Where is she?
He wants her in her stiletto heels.
Peter, would you go see a Deadly Premonition movie?
I would prefer a TV series.
They have one. It's called Twin Peaks.
Very true. Very true. And I'd be very picky on who they cast for York.
Peter's like, I want it to be me.
I think I would be a great York.
I'll be George.
I like it.
I'll be Emily.
I want to get John in that skin tight alligator suit.
Nah, I'm gonna be Dr. Usher Johnson.
The king goes first.
All right, dude. Gotta go.
George continues on his psychopathic rant and starts talking about shooting deer.
York, have you ever shot down a deer? Oh, it's so different from shooting a man. Deer hunting is great. They can be erotic creatures. Those black eyes, firm hips, slender legs.
Ugh.
You don't think deer could be erotic?
No, because I think about all those deer heads that were in that room and think of what George did to him.
I definitely cocked my head at this part. I'm like, what? Where the fuck is this going?
Thanks, bro.
Hunting is a sign of power, especially deer hunting. Did you know, York? From time to time, there's a family of deer that comes down to the graveyard. I shot them full of bullets, and they still remain standing. First, I thought they were zombies, but when I snuck up on one and cut its stomach out, I found the truth. The red seeds. Those seeds made those deer invincible.
You're telling me that he's so quietly sneaking up towards a deer. The deer didn't run away? No.
He
Bro.
pumped him full of bullets.
But the deer remains standing still. Like,
I know, the story doesn't make sense.
at all, bro. There's plot holes here. I'm pissed.
At this point in the game, in this story, this is where you start saying it doesn't make
This
sense.
is where I draw the line, John.
On deer standing still.
Everything else up until this point I bought. Here, no way.
That's logical. That makes sense. Deer standing still.
Maybe he was that quiet, Devon.
Maybe he was.
I'll say if they get shot and they don't die, then they're not afraid of death, and they're not really afraid of anyone coming near them. So maybe.
All right, John.
And
Okay.
John just drops the logic pill on us.
Just
Pop
countered my
that
whole
sucker, and all right, we'll continue on.
argument and just fucking.
See, I'm making sense with this game for you, man.
Isn't that funny? There's so many things that John will say about this game. He'll go, that doesn't make sense. And the moment we do it, John goes, but
I'm just a contrarian.
what if you look at it this way?
I'm just a contrarian. I'm an asshole.
York has to make a clever comment on the red seeds and the deer being invincible.
George, no Olympics for you. You'll fail the doping test. You'd be good food for wild animals, though.
Shut your crap, York. I have these seeds because I chose them. Come to me, and that proves my divinity.
Rockstar pose. Yeah.
George pulls out 2 handfuls of the seeds, holds them up above himself, drops them into his mouth. Half of them
Gets
missing.
like 8% in his mouth, actually.
After taking in those 3 seeds from the handful, his scar on his cheek lights up, and so do the scar on the back. And the scars form that upside down peace symbol.
And
George-
he now looks like WWE wrestler Sheamus. Got spiked hair, Everything's getting longer. Skin's turned into like an alligator.
He's getting bigger. He says a little thing about the mark on his back.
This is the mark my mother gave me. Proof of power. The red tree.
The red tree.
Guys, I'm pretty sure we can put it together. I'm pretty sure we all put it together at this point, if not before this, that the mark on the back is not an upside down peace symbol, but a red tree.
I'm pretty sure we said this like episode 2.
Yeah. The first time John saw the mark, he said, I don't know, it looks like a tree.
Well, it was. I remember specifically where it was. It was in the lumberyard, and you had to go around like the broken elevator and go up, and it was on like the side there. And it was like the third or fourth time they said upside down peace sign. I was like, why do they keep saying that? And I said, what else could that look like? Oh, it looks like it could be a tree. Then I think it was that same episode. That's when we first saw a glimpse of Kaysen, and it had the plant on the truck. And I was like, yup.
There it is. There it is. York isn't convinced about his power symbol.
You've got that all wrong, George. That's the mark of child abuse.
What an asshole.
York takes a drag of his cigarette, finishes it. He finally finishes a cigarette, chucks it at George. George has his back to him at this point. George whips around and strikes down the cigarette. York is already standing there with his gun drawn.
You see how quickly he did that?
Yeah,
He
it was
flicked
one
it.
moment he flicked it, the other moment he had the gun out just ready to shoot.
He's right. Fucking motherfucker, what?
Quick draw McGraw. A roided out George is now ready to throw down. He pulls out his axe from behind him. The boss fight begins. Instinct might tell you, draw your weapon and just shoot at George. But that's not going to work against him. Not going to work. He's not going to take damage. Your gamer instinct kicks in as you run around the arena, and you see a glowing mark on his back. Oh, it's his proof of power. Like I said, your gamer instinct kicks in, and you say, I need to shoot the glowing mark on him. So I'm sure you guys figured that out relatively quickly.
Yes.
And you started taking down his health.
Yep.
Tell me about your experience with this boss fight.
I kept thinking Pete probably did this in half the time because he had a goddamn magnum.
You are correct. You are correct. I'm just going to tell you right now. Not only are you correct, let me give you a little glimpse of exactly what this magnum can do.
I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, good.
Almost
fuck yourself. Oh my
almost
God.
half his health. Almost half his health gone in one shot.
Ugh.
And it instantly downs.
Instantly puts him on his knees, so you get a
Yeah.
little reprieve in the fight.
Well, I had to take the opportunity when he was on his knees to run up to him and keep shooting him in the fucking back to try to take more health down. It's a pain in the ass.
I did not do that. I just shot him the few times I could in the back, and then I would just keep running. I died once doing.
I
did
might have
die.
died the first time. I forget. No. I beat him the first time I played it, without, or like this. Spoiler, there's another part to this, but without getting hit once, I beat this first form, and then my game crashed. I had to do it again, and then I got mad, and I think I got hit by him, and maybe I died. No, then my game crashed again. Sorry. Playing it again, I might have died, but I don't remember how. But you might have to.
See, I don't think you died at all. I just think you died inside.
I definitely had one death here somewhere. I forget where. I remember it being really annoying because he kept saying the same exact thing every time.
We, York, we.
I would just get annoyed because I wanted him to stop turning around.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get to his back and shoot his back.
Yes.
And he kept turning around, throwing the axe, or doing some weird move that would bring his face toward me again.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like,
Right.
come on, now I gotta sit here and run around again.
Yeah, I got to shoot you 3 times to beat you.
3 times to beat this first phase. Because, like John told you, there is another phase to this fight. And when you drag his health down all the way, you get another cutscene.
Getting Anna and Becky involved was all too easy. Carol and Thomas built a secret club for me. All we had to do was tell them about it, and they were giddy to join us immediately. That's where I used the seeds on Anna and Becky. Amazing results, let me tell you. They went berserk, like cats in heat.
I don't know what that means. I've never
Have you ever seen Cats in Heat?
I've never seen Cats in Heat.
Neither.
It's fucking insane, dude.
Is it?
Oh, dude, it's nutty.
It's nutty.
Just like this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it's something you. It's something to see, but you don't really want to see it. But you'll never forget it.
Anna, especially, enjoyed the seeds. So I made my decision. She would be the first sacrifice for my immortality.
York, still a smartass. Let's not forget that. Comes back to his secondary rant with this one.
George, your poetic prose is a bit confusing. Let me reword this so it makes sense. You chose Anna as your first victim, so you could be a first-degree murderer. And you framed Thomas so it looked like he did it.
Thomas was the one who told George about the Raincoat Killer. John, you were kind of right that Thomas is the one who would get the files and could give it to the person who was the Raincoat Killer. It just turns out that George was the Raincoat Killer. Is the Raincoat Killer, I should say.
And George was the one just chilling on the couch.
He's the one who told me about the Raincoat Killer. About how to become divine, too. He didn't believe any of it, but when he told me, it all made sense. Why was I born in such a run-down dump? Why did my mother beat me every day? Why didn't Emily want me? All these things were just preparing me for something more. Ultimate power! Ah!
George starts building up his energy, Dragon Ball Z style. He's getting even bigger, and then a transformation happens of Super Saiyan proportions. George now looks like this giant rock monster with white flowing hair and ridiculous sideburns.
He went Ultra Instinct, dude.
It's like Blanca from Street Fighter.
He does.
It was crazy because like he starts transforming, and I'm like, oh, dude, we're gonna get like a Super Shredder version of fucking George, and then it flashes and this appears, and I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? What is going on?
Oh my god, it's great.
John is still wondering what's happening.
Oh, I forgot about the hair, to be honest.
With his Super Saiyan transformation complete, the second phase of the boss fight begins. And it's not too much different from the first phase. Honestly, I think he might have an upgraded charge attack, and that's really it. Other than that, you still have to run behind him, shoot him in the back, and continue on your merry way.
If you get close to him, it does a quick time event.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's a double button quick time event.
Oh,
So
I
you
never
hit
got
2
that close
buttons.
to him.
I know you probably ended it in a couple shots there, but you know, us po folk need to run around and get close to him and shoot him a bunch of times.
Please don't tell me that was one shot.
One shot brought him down to a third of his health.
What kind of sense does that make? He's human. He's slightly human, and he just takes it like a champ, and then he's a fucking beast form, and it's just like fucking.
I'm disgusted right now.
I'm
so disgusted.
I'm pissed, dude. Whoever
That's the Magnum for you, bros.
coded this gun into the game, you're a loser. You're a fucking loser. And I hate you. You're
made this boss fight a cakewalk.
You're
An
telling me.
absolute cakewalk.
You ready for the logic pill?
No, hold on. Wait. I'm waiting for it.
He's like, I'm still ranting. Let me rant.
Yes. You're telling me that one shot does this to him, but the goddamn crawling shadows can eat 2 of these shots.
They take 4.
Yeah,
4 shots
exactly.
from the Magnum
Exactly.
to go down.
Give me your logic pill, damn it.
Well, I was just going to compare it to the other version of George, is that when he went into this form, all the energy is in the outward muscly hair and not protecting his back anymore. So it actually makes his weak spot even weaker.
Something has to be holding that up.
Yeah.
Right? Because the hair never goes down. It's straight up like an anime.
It's a Jersey Shore dude on even more steroids than they already are.
Did you guys notice that his axe also transformed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bigger.
How did you guys do on this portion though?
It wasn't that bad. I didn't have a Magnum, but it wasn't that bad. It was pretty. If you kept your distance, you were good.
Crashed the first time. I think I died the second time from the quick time event. I want to say.
Did you die immediately?
No, maybe I don't remember. It if it didn't kill me immediately, then it definitely took a huge chunk of health out.
You take away all his health, either in 2 shots or 70, depending on what gun you have, and you get another cutscene.
Why? Mama, I didn't do anything bad. Why? Why are you doing this to me? It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I now have to apologize to Anna tonight. I know I didn't forgive, but still, I didn't do anything wrong. You know who it was. He's the one who made me do all this. He's the one that gave me the wonderful present. And it filled me with confidence. And that was when I realized. That I am blessed.
Guys, George is crying like a little bitch.
You ain't wrong, homie. You ain't wrong.
And then he says, he's the one who made me do all this. What did you guys think of that?
I think we knew who he was talking about, and I called this.
You did.
I did call this.
You did say there was someone behind the scenes.
You did say that there was someone behind the scenes. You did call that. George then mentions the locket.
York, I know you have it. You're right to hold on to it.
York lifts the locket out of his pocket and holds it up.
You mean this? Why are you so concerned about this locket?
I told you I'm the chosen one. Only the chosen one can own that locket. That's what he told me.
He takes out the axe and hucks it at York. York instantly slides to the side a little bit. Doesn't move his feet, leans over.
Absolutely outrageous. Made me think of the missile from Twin Snakes.
If this was from Twin Snakes, he would have taken a grenade out and threw it up in the air and then blew the axe away from him and used the force to project him up in the air so he could come down and shoot George in the head.
He would have ran up the axe.
He would do something very similar to what you actually have to do.
Facts. Big facts.
Well, no. So he dodged.
Made me think about it too.
York dodges the first axe. A gameplay segment kicks in. Axes are coming at you. It gives you the evade prompt, and you can't move. You cannot move. So if you don't know what to do, you're thinking, "What's going on? Is there something wrong with my game?"
Yep. Especially when your game crashed 2 times before and you go, fuck, this better not be crashing again. There may be no problems with this.
It took me a few tries. And when I say a few tries, it took me a few axes coming at me for me to aim my weapon. And when I aimed my weapon, I saw the icon pop up above the axe. And that's how I knew that I had to shoot the axe. Right there.
It is, yep.
Yeah, this is completely accidental on my part.
But yes, you have to shoot the axe. That's what you have to do.
I was kind of stupid and I waited. I'm not saying that you were stupid, Peter, for the arrow, but I'm saying I was stupid because I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, Peter knew exactly what to do. But I feel like you could tell because the axe is moving so slow.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it's like-
another thing. That was another thing. The axe is moving so slow, but it still took a little bit to kick in.
Right.
Because I saw the icon pop up above the axe, and I thought, oh, that's why it's moving so slow. I have to shoot it.
I actually, if I recall, I was freaking out because you can't move around. And I ended up trying to shoot the axes so it wouldn't hit me. And not knowing that it was actually going to be the way that you're supposed to kill him. But I was like, no! I was like, move! Don't get me!
Regardless of how we figured it out, when the axe is shot, it flies back at George and hits him in the chest. George experiences his death animation where he starts writhing in pain.
How can this be? I'm divine.
No. You're a first-degree murderer. And I'm a federal agent. George, of course you're going to lose.
Lightning then comes down and starts striking George multiple times. And when the final lightning bolt strikes, George is back to normal, but burned to a crisp, standing there in the shape of a tree. Why can you tell that he's standing there in the shape of a tree? Because when it shows the overhead angle, the shadow on the roof is a tree.
Goddamn game. What a genius. Genius, man.
York, exhausted from the fight, collapses and passes out. End of the chapter, boys. What did you think?
It was good to have the finale of that fight, kind of putting the end to the Raincoat Killer, maybe. Other than the crashes and whatnot, it was fun. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm glad that they made the boss fight the way they did, though. Because this is the Raincoat Killer, they gave him more, weight. All right, this is you're fighting the Raincoat Killer. Up until this time, he's been taunting you and messing around with you this whole time. Now you know who he is. So now that makes it even more this motherfucker, I gotta get his ass. And then when you finally, the unveiling for people that if they just weren't paying attention or missed who the Raincoat Killer was, if they get it now, they're like, damn. It was a fight to
It was a fight to end the arc. But of course, even though this ends an arc, we're not done yet. Chapter 24 begins with Little York in the Red Forest Dream World. Ahead of you is a straight lane. You have to make your way through to the end. But on the way to the end, there are characters littered on both sides. Each of them has some interesting things to say. Actually, I'm wrong about that. Most of them have interesting things to say. The twins tell you,
You'll also be able to return back soon. Very soon, you'll be able to go back to where you came from.
a lot of the women just laugh, and then Thomas says something super weird.
You also need to have more fun. I'll play with you a little if you like.
I'm pretty sure we all had the same reaction when he said that.
Yeah.
It was an instant cockeyed, lean back and as far away from the screen as you could.
It's Dad?
The final two characters at the end of this lane are York's parents. York's dad tells him,
Expect no praise. You did nothing but your duty.
Just an asshole dad.
York's mom says,
Francis, well done. I'm sure your father wants to congratulate you.
no, he doesn't, Ma.
He's an asshole.
You finally make your way to the door at the end of this lane. And there's this weird shadow behind the door. You can see hovering back there. It's like a door that if you actually saw and you could see what was on the other side, you'd say, do I want to open this? Do I want to go through it and find out what that is? This is a video game. Of course we want to find out what's on the other side. And when we do, we see Emily sitting in a chair, kind of in a daze. But she's holding that same Kaysen doll that Diane was holding in a previous dream. Standing to her left is Harry.
I'm sorry, but I can't allow you to go with your parents yet. There is still something you need to do. Open that envelope.
There's a table in front of Emily with what looks like evidence from the case on top of it. There's an envelope with the red tree symbol on it. Baby York walks up to it, grabs the envelope, opens it up, and York wakes up. York is in the hospital. Usha Johnson playing chess next to him. York doesn't care about the chess game. He wants to know where Emily is. So he asks Usha Johnson.
Emily. Which room is Emily in?
Emily? What, she hurt too? She hasn't come into the hospital.
What? I told Kaysen to bring her here.
Emily is not at the hospital, guys. Kaysen did not bring her here, but you want to know who Kaysen did bring to the hospital?
Kaysen? Well, Kaysen came. I mean, he's the one who brought you here. Which reminds me, he asked me to give you this.
And Usha Johnson holds out the envelope that York saw in his dream. That same envelope with the red tree symbol on it. York opens up the envelope, and inside of it is a hand-drawn map, I think, to George's house.
Worst map ever.
But you can tell that it's leading to a place with a star and the name George under it, so you can only assume that you have to go to George's house. The other thing in it is a key, which, if you can put 2 and 2 together, gotta be the key to George's house. York walks away and says,
I have a bad feeling about this.
You're outside of the hospital. It's raining. You can hear the mysterious shadows looming in the distance. You have to drive to George's house. The objective here is you have to drive to George's house, which is a very far place. I want to ask you guys a question because I saw 2 things during this driving sequence. I saw a giant weird beast drop out of the sky while you were driving there.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I had to play this section. I drove 3 times. I drove 3 times because it crashed twice.
Oh, no, dude.
The first 2 times, I saw the beasts. We haven't said what the beasts are, but we will. The third time, did not see the beasts. It was just regular mysterious shadows. So I wanted to know.
Any mysterious shadows.
No, okay, you didn't.
Yeah.
All right.
I just had beasts.
I don't remember seeing any beasts.
Giant beasts.
Giant beasts? Trust me, if you saw it, you would remember. So did you see mysterious shadows, Devon?
Yeah, I definitely saw mysterious shadows.
Oh, we've got a treat for you, Devon, and for the listener, and for the viewer.
Let me sit up in my seat here.
It comes out of nowhere without any warning
or explanation.
What it is a giant zombie dog.
Yep.
Hello?
Yes.
Devil dogs.
Giant zombie devil dogs just drop onto the road and block your path.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I expected to see them every single time I played this section.
They're Dobermans.
But the third time I did it, it was normal mysterious shadows. The best part about that, this car can't run out of gas, can't get damaged. So it was a damn massacre all the way to George's place on the third try. Thank you, game, for letting me get some of my frustrations out.
Peter's like, ooh.
I'll tell you where it crashed on me too. It crashed on me in the middle of driving. The second time I made it to George's house, it showed me a little cutscene, which we'll talk about soon, and it crashed right after the cutscene. So I had to drive all the way over there again.
Yeah, I would have ended it there.
Yeah, there was parts during this drive where it didn't crash for me, but I glitched out where the car just sank into the road.
I saw that.
And then it was just going like, just started shaking. It was like, and then it like flew up out of the, or actually, I think the car flew up, but it reset. It happened 2 or 3 times. I like as you keep up to George's house, he has one of the red trees for the seeds right in his backyard.
I didn't notice that, George. George. I just called you George.
Hey.
I was getting you ready for your movie role.
Right,
I did not notice that, John, at all. That actually is really cool. York uses the key on the front door, walks on in. George's place, super empty, super serial killer-ish.
His house fucking sucks.
Boarded up like a zombie apocalypse is happening.
Exactly. This is the type of house that when you walk into, you say, yep, this guy was a serial killer.
And you see a phone on the corner and you say, yep, can't wait to save.
Facts. Let me tell you guys that when York walks in here, they do a couple setting shots where the camera goes into different locations and just shows what the house looks like. One of them, or I should say a couple of them, shows the phone on the wall. I wanted to get to that phone so bad. It took all my power not to skip the cutscene, to just run over to the phone and save. Because the last thing I wanted was for this game to crash and for me to have to drive here again. When the panning shots ended, I went straight to the phone and saved. And found out that George doesn't have his own phone. He has a pay phone in his house. Doesn't make sense. You have to pay $1 to save at this phone.
Still fucking you after death.
Now it's time to search George's house. There's nothing really going on upstairs. Just a lot of weird mannequins that he has lying around. There are a couple curtains. There are a couple
like tarp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tarp. Yeah. Curtains.
Sorry. I don't know.
These are fabulous. Serial killer panache, okay?
The game's graphics are from like 2010. I don't know what they are. They look like curtains.
You got your PC on low settings, bro? You gotta be on that ultra, dude.
Wow, I can really see the detail in
low
this
res
tarp.
graphics.
There's some tarp hanging from the doorways. When you go up to them, you can interact with them, and York rips them down, and you can walk through. One of them, he rips down, and it's just a wall. But you can see imprints in the wall. Kind of looks like a doorway. And if you're like me, somehow when you press A to interact with that weird, off-colored part of the wall, York walks into it and hits his head.
He headbutts it.
I didn't know why. I didn't try to sprint through it or anything. I hit A, and York just went, bah! It's like, what are you doing, guy? Turns out it's another heavy door.
So let me ask you a question. If you're gonna try to hide a secret room, why would you put a fucking tarp over the goddamn door to nothing?
Dude, hidden in plain sight.
It was obvious no matter what he did.
Yeah.
If he didn't put the tarp up, people would be like, hey, why does this wall look like a door?
Why is there a breeze coming from these cracks?
That door leads to George's basement. In the basement is a masturbation room. It has to be it.
Man.
I mean, you have a bed down there.
He does have a chair just right in the center of the room.
Chairs right in the center of the room, right?
Floors
And
are sticky.
there's a wall dedicated to Emily. Just tons of pictures of Emily on the wall. I should say
what I
on
noticed
board.
is it's got all the wires hanging all over the room, like what's her face?
Becky's
death. Yeah.
There's a dresser blocking another doorway. You have to push that dresser out of the way. When you walk in, you get the final cutscene of the chapter. This cutscene is a doozy. York walks in, there's a chair in there. It looks like someone's sitting. Someone is there, but they're dead.
Yeah.
It is George's mom, her decomposed body, sitting in the chair, and she's got trees growing out of her mouth and eyes.
Mrs. Woodman.
A giant hole in her stomach.
Right.
Yes, yeah, giant hole in her stomach. He must have cut out the seeds. York, always feeling the need to be clever, says,
Meeting the mother is always a bad experience after killing the son.
I would hate for him to be like at a wake or something, like sorry to the family for their loss. He'd like say something fucking smart.
York isn't fazed by seeing this disgusting decomposed body on the chair.
Of course not. He's a federal agent.
He walks up to the body. A little flashback of Kaysen with the red tree pops up. Then York rips one of the tree branches out of the mom's eyes and stares at it. Not what I would do. No. I would never put my hand anywhere near that body.
Unless you, like, without gloves, dude.
York sees a hole in the wall with light coming through it. holds that branch up into the light. On the ground, the shadow of the tree shows York the upside down peace mark. I don't know how he couldn't get it from just looking at the tree. I don't know how he hasn't gotten it from George saying the red tree and his back lighting up.
Or just the fact that like he's supposed to be this great detective and Kaysen has literally been carrying around a plant with 3 fucking branches that look like an upside down peace sign.
But we get the big revelation.
It wasn't a reverse peace mark. It's a tree.
It flashes back to all the dead bodies, to all the settings that York has seen over the past few days and the past few years, previous cases that he's worked on. It's an entire montage dedicated to showing the tree symbol. York says red tree to himself and it clicks. We go back to the coffee. Guys, what was in the coffee?
FK.
FK.
Kaysen. Forrest Kaysen. He's the one.
He is the one.
I said this.
Next to the chair that the mother is sitting in is an end table. York turns around, sees the photo on the end table. The photo is of Kaysen and George together, and George is holding the locket in the photo. York rushes off, and then we get a close-up. Written in red marker on the photo is "Come to the theater. There, the final curtain shall rise."
Bastard. I knew it. I called it. Episode 1. Called it.
And that is the end of the chapter and the end of our section for this week's episode. Guys, tell me what you thought.
I called it. I called it. I called it.
Respect to Devon because he was saying, I do believe George is the killer, but I feel like someone is pulling the strings.
Yes. Yes. It was great, dude. Finally coming to these revelations. I love this game. I want a remastered version on the PlayStation 4.
When George was confessing to his mother right at the end, I was like, oh, it's Kaysen.
Yep.
And this confirmed it. But,
See, I think that was more of the revelation for this part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they needed to do the whole, it's not an upside down peace mark, it's a red tree. I think they could have done that a different way. But showing Kaysen, I feel like that was the bigger hit.
Right.
For people who may have been wondering, wait, who is behind it?
I agree. But I guess if he thought previously that it was a red tree, I think he would have put together before that it was Kaysen.
True.
Right.
It was York finding it out. Like we put the pieces together before, but this was York finally finding out that it wasn't an upside down peace mark and that Kaysen was behind it.
He's been essentially going around the whole country looking for Kaysen. So Kaysen goes to these other areas and does the same exact thing that he did, where he pumps people up thinking that this is how you're going to become immortal, and plants the trees around and gets them to take all their shit.
That's what it's looking like.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a sadistic mind to come up with a game like this.
You do have to do a lot of acid to come up with a game like this.
Facts.
Are you guys excited to see how the game is going to end?
I'm very excited. I cannot wait to see how it's going to play out.
There's nobody more excited for this game to end than me. No, I'm looking forward to just seeing how it plays out. It will be kind of cool to see a final showdown. I really hope that it kind of gives some closure to some of like the visions that he sees, like as him as a kid, maybe about his parents, the significance of the kids, the angels and everything. I kind of want to find out about that kind of stuff now.
Definitely.
Seeing how we've already got the answers for the other things.
John, as ridiculous as this game is, as nutty as this game is, do you like that they're answering the questions that you had?
That's all I really ask for in anything that I put time into. If I'm going to invest into a story, you have to give me a payoff. And I feel like they've done an above average job of answering those questions. As far as like cleverly tying things together, even things as like little things of having like the tree in George's yard, right? Like that makes sense that he would have something like that, being a friend of Kaysen's and also being the killer who gets hopped up on seeds. But yeah, I mean that I think it's better than a lot of shows have done, or even other games, you know, as far as answering questions that they have asked. So yeah, I can appreciate that. I really can.
Awesome. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that you think that way. As crazy as this game is and as many what the fuck moments there are.
Yes. Now, if they don't answer the giant dogs, you lost me.
Well, guys, I know you're excited to either find out everything or just see the credits roll to be done with this. And I have some good news for you.
Ooh, we playing to the end, baby.
Yes.
John's like, I'm gonna play right now.
The next section is the final section. Episode 9 will be the season finale for Deadly Premonition.
Come on this way.
It feels like we've come a long way, right?
It does. I'm lukewarm to it. Like I've definitely warmed up to it compared to when we started. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's gonna finish.
I'm curious as to how your reception will be when you reach the ending.
Well, as you know, I have a terrible issue of like trying to guess endings and trying to figure out stuff before, and I usually come up with ideas that I get super into, and then they don't end up being into like what I think it is, and it's a little disappointing. So I just need to like sit back and just try to enjoy.
I'm pumped. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
How about you, P? Are you excited to finish the game again?
Yes. I cannot wait to play through and see the ending again. This is an ending that I haven't seen in 8 years.
Oof.
Damn.
I'm also excited to see your reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hear what you guys think and to see your expressions when one of you stream the game. I'm so excited that you guys played through this, for all the frustrations that it gave us because this port is god awful.
Yeah.
That you guys are still getting something out of this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You're getting an experience that you never would have experienced in any other game. In any other game, you would never have experienced something like this.
No, definitely not.
Why am I talking about what part we're playing to? Why am I talking about you streaming the game? Because if you guys, you, the listener or the viewer, want to play the game with us, you can. All you got to do is play the game up to the section and then join our Discord. You can find the link to it in the YouTube description or the description of the listening platform you're using. Join the Discord, go on into the channel, and ask us any questions. Leave your feedback. Tell us what you want us to discuss. We'll talk about the game with you, and we'll bring up your comments in the episode. If you don't want to play the game, I think John has a way around that.
Well, you know, if you just don't feel like playing it, guess what? We got you covered. Follow us on our Twitch channel. One of us, probably me this time, will be playing through the section of the game, and you can just watch it and then follow along with the podcast. We'll do the legwork for you. Well, you can come join, watch us, talk to us while we're streaming it. If you don't catch it live, you got the video on demand. You can watch us play it, and then again, leave some stuff in the Discord.
This podcast is on YouTube. We have our video version there. But we understand you guys live busy lives. You can't always sit down and watch an hour-and-a-half podcast. Devon, what could they do if they need to be on the move?
Oh, like if you're traveling from work or going to school, or, you know, you're just taking a little break from some work, you know, lunch break or something like that. You guys can follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. We are on every single avenue. We are out there. Give us a follow. Give it a listen. Give us a rating. You know what I'm saying? Give us that 5-star on the Apple Podcast. Hook it up.
If you guys like us, if you think we're even just kind of remotely cool, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram, BLKWHT Gaming. That's the same handle as our Twitch handle, so you can follow us on all three of those. Same spelling. Head right on over, give us a follow, talk to us there. If you want to reach out to us in a more private sense, feel free to send us an email at, what do you know, blkwhtgaming@gmail.com. Just do the York, ponder that over a little bit.
Weird.
And then come back next week for our final episode of Season 2
Wow.
of the BWG Game Club.
I feel like this is going to be made a big deal right now. But only because I don't know the ending and I knew the ending of Metal Gear. But I'm actually more excited, I think, to finish this than I am Metal Gear.
Wow. You just made Peter the happiest person alive.
I will say, by the end of Metal Gear, I was done with Metal Gear. I was ready to move on. It was just taking forever.
See, I think John's feeling a little bit of both. He is feeling that this needs to end, and it's finally going to end, but at the same time, he doesn't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So he's excited to see that portion of it. So it's a mold of the two.
I like closure on things. I like having to be able to say, at least this is done, and I can move on from it.
And Devon just gets to finish a game.
Hey,
It's just a win in my fucking stoked. This like keeps me up to finishing games. It's great. I fucking love it. What a way to force me to finish games. Love it. This is awesome.
Keep a note of that, guys. This could be the way that you finish games if you play them with us. Just giving you a little idea. Planting a little seed in that mind of yours. A little red plant seed. Yeah, a little red seed in that mind so you can finish games. Join us on the BWG Game Club. I'm your host, Peter Hoy, with my friends, John Longaluco, a.k.a. Johnny Bag of Donuts.
How you doing?
And Devon Colbert, the light-skinned blade.
Darkness.
We are Black and White Gaming, and we can't wait to see you next time.